Plaintiff sustained injuries while incarcerated at Rikers Island during an attack by fellow inmates and seeks to recover damages in negligence against the defendant, City of New York. After a lengthy trial, the jury returned a defense verdict based upon express findings that defendant lacked both notice and the opportunity to intervene to protect plaintiff. This appeal follows the court's grant of plaintiff's motion to set aside the verdict based upon a claimed error in the court's readback of its initial jury charge concerning a so-called inmate folder. At the charge conference, plaintiff's counsel argued that the government counsel contained in the unproduced inmate folder bore directly on plaintiff's central claim that his complaint of threats by other inmates went unheeded by correction officers, with counsel appointed and arguing on summation. All of the answers in this case were in this inmate file. Over defendant's objection, the court gave the jury a missing documents charge, specifically identifying the document typically contained in an inmate folder, which permitted the jury to draw an inference against the defendants on the issue of notice. In response to the jury's request during deliberations for a reread of the charge regarding the missing inmate folder, the court, after consulting with counsel, repeated its initial missing documents charge, although this time without specifying the individual documents contained in the inmate folder. The jury, apparently satisfied by the court's response and without asking for any further clarification, returned a defendant's verdict shortly after the supplemental instructions were given and before the court had an opportunity to certify what it then perceived to be error in its failure to enumerate the missing documents and to reveal the initial adverse document charge exactly and not change it. In its written decision granting plaintiff's motion to set aside the jury verdict, the court concluded that the absence from the readback of an in-court enumeration of the inmate file could have posed a quandary and confusion for the jurors as to what type of inference was to be drawn from the missing inmate file. Defendant now appeals, and we reverse and reinstate the jury verdict. As a preliminary matter, plaintiff waived any challenge to the court's supplemental instructions through his post-verdict failure to renew his objection thereto and or request that the jury be charged anew and sent out for further deliberations. See Luzardo versus Jamaica Hall Corporation, 296, Appellate Division 2nd, 383. 744, New York Supplement 2nd, 892, 2002. In any event, the record contains no indication that the jury was in need of reintroduction on the contents of the inmate folder or that the supplemental instructions as given caused any jury confusion which warranted any additional instruction. There is simply no basis to conclude that the outcome of the case would have been different had the court's readback of the missing documents charge itemized the individual documents that typically comprise an inmate folder information, which was properly and clearly conveyed to the jury in the court's initial missing documents charge, and which, so far as reflected in the jury's notes, was not the subject of any juror misapprehension or uncertainty. Though mindful that our power to review the trial judge's discretion must be exercised in the light of the fact that she was there and we were not. Trapp versus American Trading and Products Corporation, 66, Appellate Division 2nd, 515, 519, 414, New York Supplement 2nd, 11, 1979, we cannot abide the court's conclusion that the claimed error in its readback of the missing documents charge was favorable to plaintiff and could have misled the jury or prejudiced plaintiff's cause. How's that?
Pretty good.